I figured it was my time to start reviewing a series. And after James relinquished these games over to me, I've been waiting for the right time to start. And although nothing significant has happened, I think it's time. I'm going to be reviewing the Metal Gear series. Now, while I'm tackling the series, I'm going to be handling it in a semi-strange way. I've played through most of these games. Most, not all. Meaning some of these games will be my first playthrough. And I'm going to say this right now, I'm leaving the MSX games for last, as they are completely uncharted territory for me and are just a different style of game altogether, being 8-bit and all. So, yes, there will be a massive technological jump from Metal Gear Solid 5 to the original Metal Gear. And just because I can, I'm going to quickly go over my history with the series. I was first introduced to the Metal Gear series back in 2010 when my mom's friend brought over his own copy of Metal Gear Solid 4 to play on our new PlayStation 3. He booted up the game and I watched him play, from the War's Chains cutscenes all the way through Act 1. I was intrigued. It was the first time I've ever seen a game with such long cutscenes, a lot of long cutscenes, and it's the first time I've ever seen a stealth game. I don't know what led to him leaving the game for me to play, but I played up until the end of Act 3 before losing interest. The cutscenes were referencing events I knew nothing about, and if you know anything about Act 3 of Metal Gear Solid 4, it fucking sucks. If I ever played the game, I would just restart, skip the cutscenes, and just see what other things I could do in the game, because Metal Gear Solid 4 gives you a lot of tools to just play however you want. A few years later, that same family friend gave me his copy of Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes, and since I was sort of familiar with the series, I decided to check it out. And that game is what made me a Metal Gear fan. The fourth wall breaks were clever, and made me appreciate the game so much more. I knew how Metal Gear Solid went because of my experience with the Twin Snakes, but I've never fully played through the original. That all changes today. It's time to review the game that really put the series on the map. It's time to review Metal Gear Solid. This game is old, and it does look like crap. But that's okay. We just have to set our expectations accordingly, and we'll be fine. After all, the only thing preventing you from enjoying older games is the expectation that it's like a modern game. Soapbox, yeah, here we go. I'm making opinions and shit. For the record, I did play this on an emulator, and honestly, don't play Metal Gear Solid on anything other than a console. This was super janky. It looked great sometimes, but the cutscenes were just inconsistent in quality, and I had so many input and loading issues. Yes, save states are nice, but I prefer games to be stable. Textures were warped, and God, either this emulator sucks or I did just not have the right settings. Just play it on a PS2 or a PS3. But if you do, use the D-pad. Even though I was using an Xbox One controller to play the game, I still found the D-pad way more comfortable to play and way more responsive than the control stick. It just felt way too touchy. Okay, I need to actually talk about this game. I keep getting distracted while writing this goddamn script. The game begins with Solid Snake being launched from a submarine into a secret base in Alaska, tasked with a mission to find out if terrorists, comprised of members of Foxhound that went rogue, who are asking for a ransom of Big Boss's remains and $1 billion, actually have nukes and the capability of launching said nukes, while also being tasked with rescuing the DARPA chief and the arms tech president. Now, if you understood none of that, that's okay. This isn't going to be a series you can watch if you want to know the in-depth lore of Metal Gear. There are plenty of videos of that, and honestly, it'd be too much effort for me to make one. I'm just a game reviewer. The game starts fairly slow, with Snake sneaking past the heliport into the base proper. He's being aided from the submarine by Colonel Campbell, Dr. Naomi Hunter, and Mei Ling, with Mei Ling being the way you actually save your game. They are a fun cast, and the voice acting is really good between everybody that uses the codec in this game. Anyway, Snake is slithering through the vents to find the DARPA chief, and actually finds him in a cell. Now, the DARPA chief and the arms tech president are important because each one of them has a detonation code for the nuclear weapon, Metal Gear Rex. Unfortunately, the terrorists got the chief to talk. Before Snake is able to rescue the chief, however, he suddenly dies of a heart attack. Strange.
But what about the Pentagon?
Pentagon? What is it?
Hey, what happened?
The DARPA chief's cell opens and he is face to face with who we later learn is Meryl, Colonel Campbell's niece. This is her first time on the battlefield, and because of that, she is inexperienced and obviously scared. She helps Snake fight off some guards before she shoots at him and runs off. This, of course, wouldn't be Metal Gear without Snake seeing a hallucination of Psycho Mantis, a man who can manipulate objects and people with his telepathic abilities. Snake makes his way down to where the Arms Tech President Kenneth Baker is being held, strapped to a pillar with C4 everywhere. This is where we meet quite possibly the most important character in the entire series.
Right. Touch that wire, and the C4 will blow up along with the old man. So you're the one that the boss keeps talking about.
And you?
Special Operations Foxhound. Revolver Ocelot.
This man is a Russian cowboy wannabe, but he proves he's the real deal by being a real pain in the ass. He taunts you, talks about his love of guns, and most importantly, ricochets bullets off the walls to hit you. Oh, fuck, he's cool. Then again, his AI does this, so I don't even know what's real anymore. The fight is cut short with an interruption from a cyborg ninja. Not that one. This one. What is this series? He cuts off Ocelot's hand and saves Baker, before freaking out and leaving. Baker then gives a big spiel about nuclear waste and the consequences of the Cold War before revealing the terrorists also have his nuclear code. But then, he dies of a sudden heart attack. Just like the DARPA chief. And here is where the first real fourth wall break of the game happens. You must find a way to contact Meryl to progress the game's story. The only way to do this is by codec. And of course, you don't know her frequency. Now, you could, search every single frequency in the game, but no. No. But Baker mentions this.
If she still has it, you should be able to contact her.
I'm sure she still has it. What frequency was she at?
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you, it's... Oh, sorry. I forgot.
Damn!
Oh, that's right. It should be on the back of the CD case. Try to contact her.
I'll contact her right away.
And yes, he's completely serious. You have to look at the back of the PS1 CD case to figure out what her frequency is. I know this is probably an anti-piracy measure, but oh my god, this shit blew my mind as a kid. Even on the Twin Snakes, it's exactly the same. Snake gets in contact with Meryl, and now you have a new goal. Stop Metal Gear's launch, either through deactivation or destroying the weapon itself. But to do this, you'll need help from Metal Gear Rex's main designer, Hal Emmerich, another very important character in this series. So you journey across a snowy minefield before you're attacked by a motherfucking tank. And since you're Solid Snake, the only way you can deal damage is by throwing grenades into the tank. Okay, that's pretty cool. The driver of the tank is revealed to be Vulcan Raven, a very big shaman who is very keen on fighting you again. Snake arrives in the nuclear storage building, finds the Nikita missile, and goes to meet Hal Emmerich, using those same Nikita missiles to disable the electric floor blocking his path towards Emmerich. And once again we see the cyborg ninja. He fights Snake in hand-to-hand combat in a honestly pretty boring boss fight.
That's good, Snake. Hurt me more. What's wrong? Snake! Snake!
And reveals that he is Gray Fox, Snake's old comrade that he was forced to kill in Zanzibar Land during the events of Metal Gear 2. Gray Fox escapes once again, and now we get another exposition fest from Emmerich, who asked to be called Otacon because he's a fucking weeb. He tells us how to stop Metal Gear from launching using a keycard that Meryl obtained from Baker, and it's Snake's job to finally stop the launch. Snake meets up with Meryl, learns about her a little bit, gives her a lecture, then the two meet up with one of the coolest bosses in gaming, especially for the time.
No, there's no need for words, Snake. I'm Psycho Mantis! That's right. This is no trick. It's true power. It's useless, I told you. I can read your every thought. Now let me read your mind. No, perhaps I should say your past. You are a very methodical man. The type that always kicks his tires before he leaves. You are a highly skilled warrior, well suited to this stealth mission. You are extremely careful of traps. You are either very cautious, or you are a coward. Still don't believe me? Now I'll read more deeply into your soul. Your memory is completely clean. You have not said often. You are somewhat reckless. I can read you like an open book.
Psycho Mantis. This man analyzes your performance throughout the game, reads your memory card, vibrates your controller, fucks with your TV signal, and reads your controller inputs to dodge attacks. The only way to damage him is to switch from controller port 1 to controller port 2. This is the coolest way I've seen a boss fight handled, period, and in my opinion it's even better on the GameCube remake. I just wish him controlling Meryl was utilized better, kind of seemed wasted due to how easy it is countered, but I didn't play it on a PlayStation for this review, so I suffered. This emulator sucks, and I probably won't use it ever again. It completely ruins the pace of the game by forcing you to have to save states so you can edit your controller settings. Every other emulator I've used allows you to do this while the game is running, and I don't understand why this particular emulator has issues. Fuck you. Anyway, Snake fucks Mantis up, and he opens the way forward, using his powers for good, for the first time and last time in his life. Snake and Meryl keep finding excuses to keep fucking talking to each other before an obviously sexist pack of wolf dogs beat your ass. Before another member of Foxhound rudely interrupts you. Sniper Wolf. She shoots Meryl, using her as bait in order to lure you out, and Snake and Meryl have another conversation. Another one. That is also similar to the past two. Kojima, I get it. Just please stop finding excuses for them to talk to each other. Meryl's life is in danger. So now it's time to backtrack. Snake makes his way all the way back to the tank hangar's second basement, which is a longer trek than it should be, and grabs a sniper rifle. That's it. Now he has to run all the way back. Thanks, game. Just put pointless backtracking in there. I totally appreciate it. Now back to Sniper Wolf. Meryl is gone, and now it's just a sniper tool between the two of you. I'll come back to this because I have a lot of issues with these stupid Sniper Wolf fights. After seemingly winning the duel, Snake tries to move to the control tower before being stopped by Wolf and some soldiers. She scratches them because, ooh, marking your target. Kojima is so quirky. And Snake is knocked out. Snake comes too, strapped to a torture table where Wolf, Ocelot, and Liquid Snake are discussing their, top secret plans. Liquid, the leader of the rogue Foxhound unit, drops the bomb that he and Snake are brothers. But don't worry, he elaborates more later on. Ocelot is eager to torture you, however, and that's exactly what happens. Happens a lot. Otacon sneaks his way in between sorcerer sessions and gives you a bottle of ketchup. Thanks, bro. I needed that. Thankfully, the game allows you to make good use of the ketchup, and then you just backtrack all the way to where you fought Sniper Wolf. Again. I'm getting pretty fucking annoyed. You like that one part in Final Fantasy VII that just has a fuck ton of stairs? Yeah, I didn't either, but they were forced to fucking climb a million stairs in this game too. Yay! There's just a really, really stupid rappelling section that I died on because I had no idea how it works. It's short, so it's forgiven, but I don't know why it's there. And then there's this weird, like, bridge that has dudes at the end of it that just they're just chilling. Snake grabs a new type of missile, though, the Stinger missile, and now he has to fight a helicopter with it. In another fairly boring, just fucking hide from the bullets, peek out of cover, shoot the helicopter. Come on, game. Thankfully, this is the point of the game where I can just sit back and enjoy the story. Even with it being all Metal Gear-y, the gameplay just gets kinda bad, honestly. Snake fights Sniper Wolf for the final time, killing her and having a moment with Otacon. Honestly, this is where Otacon becomes that cool hacker friend that Snake legitimately trusts. But I have issues with Sniper Wolf. The fights just aren't fun. Because, like, you have to find her. And even when you find her, she has a constant view of you because of her vantage point. So she's always going to get a couple free shots off on you. And that wouldn't be bad if every time she shot you, you didn't spaz like you were having a seizure. It's annoying. It makes it more difficult than it has to be. Just technical limitations. Just stop, please. You're ruining my game lasagna, okay? And I just don't like it. Don't worry, guys, though. The game is almost over. Just another hour or two of cutscenes with some gameplay that consists of bosses and backtracking. The stealth segments are almost all gone, and this kind of saddens me. Vulcan Raven shows his face, though, with a fucking Vulcan cannon strapped to his back. Well, there's his namesake. It's another boring boss fight with him just wandering around and chasing you, and he runs into claymores, and yay. You can't even fight him head on because you'll just die, so the bosses definitely need some work. But Snake now finds Metal Gear Rex itself. I'll admit, it's pretty cool, but it's got a dick flamethrower. I don't know how to think about that. I don't know how to think about that. I don't know how to feel about that. I can't even speak. Snake proves he's horrible at sneaking around, but not even noticing the camera above him. Like, come on, dude, it's huge. The terrorists are just, they see him and they're just like, this fucking dumbass thinks he's sneaky. Snake deserves to be used like a pawn at this point. But Otacon figures out the secret to the override key, and now we get another backtracking section. This time you have to change the temperature of the card keys, which wouldn't be so bad if the game's own technical limitations didn't make this take forever. And now it's just 3 more gameplay sections. We're almost done. Snake actually activates Metal Gear because it's revealed Liquid & Co. never got the DARPA chief's nuclear code, so oops, they played him like a damn fiddle. But hey, he gets to fight a Metal Gear now. When the fight started, I honestly didn't know how to avoid this bastard's attacks, but when I figured it out, it became another lackluster fight. Jesus, game, stop being mediocre in sections. Grey Fox swoops in, drops in another plot revelation about Naomi because this game likes doing that, saves Snake's ass, distracts Liquid, and cripples Rex. You finish the fight in another phase, dodging the same exact attacks and do the same exact things to attack him, then Rex explodes, so Liquid is totally dead. Except he's not. This man not only survived an exploding helicopter crash, but also an exploding Metal Gear that had missiles shot into the cockpit where he was sitting. Nano machines, son. There's one more fight. Oh, by the way, Mara's still alive, but let's just ignore that for now. Anyway, the final fight is against Liquid, a fist fight, which isn't super boring. Thanks, game. You redeemed yourself for the final battle. Because it's the final battle. It's the final battle. Snake obviously kicks Liquid's ass, and he falls off of Rex into a seemingly bottomless pit, killing him. I fucking wish. Snake recloses himself, saves Meryl, they get into a jeep, and start their escape, with the US planning on dropping a nuke on the facility in order to cover up all of the evidence. While they're escaping, they're greeted by...
Not yet, Snake! It's not over yet!
Liquid! He just won't die! What the fuck? Okay, one awkwardly controlled shootout later. He has to be dead now, right? Right, Kojima? What? No. Oh, wait, never mind. He is dead. Turns out Snake was injected with a virus known as Fox Dye, which is programmed to kill certain people. One of these people were Liquid Snake. Snake and Meryl are informed the nuclear strike was called off, and they get on a snowmobile that they, for some reason, was just parked next to them and drove away. Liquid is totally dead. Right, guys? Obviously, the game's main appeal is the story, and even though I literally just played it, I probably got some shit wrong. So while some segments of the game suffer gameplay-wise, the story more than makes up for it. There are some issues that I just can't ignore, though. The boss fights seem way too easy in general. This gets way better as the series progresses, even leading into the opposite problem of boss fights getting a wee bit too hard. Although this game sort of gets a pass because of the limited technology. Then again, Metal Gear Solid 2 came out only about 3 years later, and that game is a borderline masterpiece. The stealth segments in the beginning are great, even with the limited controls. Obviously, it's nothing like 2 and 3 though. But it's still really nice to be able to sneak around with really only a cardboard box to help you. Later on though, the backtracking becomes repetitive as the enemies don't really change and the later areas have practically no enemies. The room with Metal Gear Rex in it has one guard. How? And the CQC? It's practically non-existent. Again, technology, but it's still so bad. Knocking out people does practically nothing. It just seems worthless. But of course, I wouldn't be putting so much effort into this video if I didn't love this game. I do love it, I promise. Metal Gear Solid's best game, worst game. The codec is a really effective way to save on resources for the amount of exposition in the game. And even though I knew the story, every time I play it, I'm always intrigued by how it's written and how well the deliveries are. David Hayter does a great job as Snake, and while he's the only one I know by name, everyone else in the cast is just amazing. Honestly, I should just make a video gushing about this series and the impact it's made on my enjoyment of video games as a medium. But that's not important right now. When this game came out, it garnered a lot of attention, even though it was just a simple PlayStation game. Well, I guess it's not simple, but you know what I mean. Kojima, while not the best writer, is creative and well respected in the industry for a reason. And I don't know what else to talk about for this game. The main meat and potatoes with this game is the story. The gameplay, very bare bones. Now the sequels, oh, there's a lot to rip into. Thanks for watching another episode of That Game Review Show. I finally made this fucking episode and I'm happy I did. I actually just sat down and wrote a decently long script. Now I finally know how James feels. Next week is his week, and I just want to say a heartfelt thank you to everyone watching these videos. I know we don't always meet our deadlines, and that the overall quality of videos varies a lot. Looking at me. But any support we get does truly mean a lot. Any comment we're able to respond to makes our day, even if it's negative. So thank you all. Anyway, I should shut up. See you in a few weeks. Fuck you.